Well, good evening, everyone. As you know, all year long, we did ribbon cuttings. There were just a few of them, but the ones we did, we started with a history lesson. So I want to give you a history lesson about the chamber. The first chamber started in France in 1599. 150 years later, first chamber in the United States was in New York. And it was business owners that came together to advocate for the business community. The same thing we do today. Well, in New Braunfels, our chamber started in 1919. And tonight, we're going to learn a little bit about the president and CEO, Michael Meek. Let's go to his office. Leading the chamber for the last several decades has been Michael Meek. He's a planner, he's organized, and he likes things with military precision, just like his calendars. Let's take a look at 1988. And Michael, to do that, let's go to the only place that's been around longer than you, Green Hall. Mary Jane, tell us what you remember about 1988.
Michael Meek was hired as the New Braunfels Convention Visitor Bureau Director in October of 1988. With the year we've had, that seems like about 50 years ago, but we're not quite that old yet. He moved here from Rockport, his hometown, where he was actually the president of the Rockport-Fulton Area Chamber of Commerce. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he had a Magnum PI mustache when he came here. Anyway, he moved here with his wife, Debbie, and his two children, Natalie and Andy. And the Rockport area did not want to let him go, but we're really glad he took the risk. However, he might have some regrets, since that's where George Strait hung out for the last 25 years. So Michael, hope Green Hall made up for that. Anyway, Michael's experience with the tourism destination of Rockport helped him understand how much a tourism industry can contribute to the economic viability of a community, and New Braunfels has certainly benefited. Thank you, Michael.
Well, thank you, Mary Jane. Interesting thing about 1988, a gallon of fuel was only 91 cents, and the average home price was $91,000. Wow, looking at my calendar, I've got to get back to the chamber office. Well, that wraps up 1988. Now we're going to move forward to 1995, which, by the way, is the year Microsoft came out with Windows 95. And Michael, based on the Rolodexes on your desk, I'm guessing Windows 95 is in your computer as well. Now we're going to hear from iconic Carter Castile on what she remembers from that year.
Thanks, Wes. Well, Mr. Mike, you might want to take this with you. We don't need it anymore. 1995, I still remember where I was on the plaza when I'd made the decision as chairman of the board that it was going to be you as our new leader. We had an executive board that met over at the smokehouse in a little hidden secret room, and we had a lot of discussions. They were pretty interesting. We had a lot of choices, but it made no sense to the executive board at that time to throw away 7 years of training and learning under Tom Purdom, who had been a great force within the community. And you had had that great experience. So we made that selection sometime in the summer of '95. I'm looking at the minutes here, and your first meeting as president was July the 17th. You know, I've made two great choices with men in my life. One was marrying Tom Castile, and the other was being chair of the board and leading the discussions to select you as our new president. And you have certainly validated Bill Morton, Skip Strodeman, Doug Miller, and Sue Hahn, and my selection of you. Your family came first. Your employees, I think, were second. You never let us as board members stray very far. You were very organized. You had that strength, and I think you learned it from your family, and certainly your predecessor. You promoted others. It wasn't about you, it was about us. And the programs that we had many years prior, you built upon them. You have so many new programs, and you've promoted so many people. I'm pleased to say that my family has been a part of the chamber, my two children, my two grandchildren, and I hope my 2 grandsons will. But a lot of it has to do, and had to do, with your leadership. One funny story, I was reading these minutes, and I remember Francis Bridges and I think Jack Ulrich would fight over the chicken wings or the chicken legs. We had more fun at those board meetings. They weren't dry, they were fun, they were exciting, but you had us all prepared. And so I'm frankly gonna miss you. Love you.
Wow, Carter, that was incredible. Thank you for that. You know something else incredible? The last guy that stole a calendar, he got 12 months. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to 2009. What a year that was. Marion Benson, you were chair of the board, and Michael Meek, you won Hurley Award. So we're out with Marion Benson now, and she's going to tell us about the Hurley Award.
Actually, Wes, it's the Marvin Hurley Award.
Whatever.
The Marvin Hurley Award is a very prestigious award presented by the Texas Chamber of Commerce Executives Association. Michael Meek was perfect to receive this award because of the accomplishments that he has done in our chamber and in our community and across the state. As it is a selection by a peer group, it is really, really an honor because they know what you should be doing and what you have done. It was my honor as chair of the board to get to go out to Lubbock with several of the chamber staff and surprise Michael when he got that award by us being there, and that was a lot of fun. We congratulated him heartily then, and today we still are very, very proud of him.
Well, thanks for the clarification, Marion.
It's okay, Wes, I'm used to it.
Let's get back to the office. Thanks, Marion. And I know you love a love story. Did you hear about the calendars that fell in love? January 1st, it was their first date. Oh. Now, let's move on to 2018. Anybody smell sausage? Hey, we're at Wurstfest today, one of Michael Meek's favorite places. And I was talking to Nathan earlier. He said, hey, Michael's really gross. Well, I'm here with Eric Couch, and Eric says, no, he's grosso.
He's the grosso open.
Eric, tell us a little bit more about that.
As the 2018 Wurstfest president, it was my privilege to be able to appoint the Grossa Open. My selection that year was none other than Chamber President Michael Meek. Michael Meek had been a longtime member of the Wurstfest Association and had not served in that capacity. He became the best selection to date that I think we've ever had. Michael and I were not close friends, but more acquaintances that time. But as we sat down as a family to discuss the options available, Michael clearly came to the top. Michael, I'd like to say it was because of Debbie, but we really know it was because of you. You were an awesome guy to get to travel the country with, to represent Wurstfest and the city of New Braunfels. You were the right selection for us, and I'm glad we got to do it. One of the highlights of our year was the ability to complete and dedicate the hydro plant behind me. You and I were able to do that with lots of members from the chamber, including then chairwoman Robin Jeffers. That was one of the best things that I got to do that year, and I got to do it with you. Michael, you were awesome. Congratulations. Wow. And couldn't have done it without you.
So that's 2018. SpaceX had a successful mission, and GM closed 5 assembly plants. Well, Eric, I got to get back to the chamber and back to the calendar. Now let's take a look at 2020. Oh, no, let's don't. Let's take a minute and let's go outside. Let's visit with Phyllis Forrester and hear about Michael's career. We're outside the chamber office, and Michael, you've been coming here for a lot of years. But there's one person, Phyllis, that's been coming here longer, 4 months longer. So Phyllis, tell us a little bit about Michael.
It's hard to believe it's been 32 years. I remember the very first day you stepped foot in the front door of the chamber offices. You were not intimidated at all by the 3 young receptionists that sat across from you, staring and whispering and wondering what the heck you were doing there. Little did we know you were there interviewing with Tom Purdom for the director of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. You soon became our boss. That's when it all started. Lucky for you, the other day I was thumbing through some old tabloids in my office. You remember the old paper tabloids, don't you? Well, I ran across a 1989 photo of you, and this happens to be the very first headshot of you with the New Braunfels Chamber of Commerce. Well, I decided to go on through and went on to the next year, and look what I found. I found a photo of you with a new Magnum PI look. Boy, did we have fun looking over these photos over the years. All kidding aside, MM, you have been a great boss to me and many others over the years. Your vision and leadership has gotten us to where we need to be today, not only at the Chamber, but also in the community. We've had many fun times sharing stories, videos, photos of our children and grandchildren, and I'm sure that will continue as the years go on. In a few months, a new president will walk through the very same set of doors that you walked in 32 years ago. Hopefully it will be someone that will follow your vision and leadership skills that you've shared with all of us over the last 32 years. We're gonna miss you, MM.
Wow, Michael, Magnum PI. Sounds a little overrated, but I think you pulled it off. Phyllis, thanks for sharing with us.
Not a problem, Wes.
Well, Michael, you've heard a lot of great things about yourself from a lot of the great leaders that you've known here. But all joking aside, I just want to say thank you. I've enjoyed a really neat friendship that you and I have had together. Heartfelt thank you from the Chamber Board, from the Chamber staff, from the whole community. You've made a difference, and your legacy will be remembered in New Braunfels. So congratulations on your retirement, and we look forward to what you do in the next season.